सफल एक पानी बोतल जोड़ दिया सॉरी तेरा फोन के तेरा फोन टाइम फोन कर रहा
मैसेज दिया
ऐसे फोन कर रहा था तो
पानी क्या
हाँ बस पानी बोतल आया सॉरी भाई रमजान के लिए If I do like this, you can see my trouser, right?
Yes.
You can see that I'm getting a shorts also, right? So that will be like this. But I just want the muffin to come out. Saiful, Facebook, Philippine.
मेरे पास फेसबुक नहीं है, मेरा इंस्टाग्राम है।
Instagram. Instagram, Facebook.
इंडिया का नाम का फेसबुक, इंस्टाग्राम,
Philippine, Facebook. And this is India Facebook.
फिलिपिन है। उसका तो नाम रखा है निकलेश अफगान। ये ना, ये फिलिपिन।
Yeah. Okay.
One minute.
Uh,
minutes and let's get it out. So, do you think we should show them, like I'll start it, I'll take it out, keep it inside and then start it? So I'll take it out and I say yes, that I will take it out. This is my water?
Yeah.
So, flour brand. Are you live? Ready? Tell me now. When you tell me, 30 seconds before. So, I'm just going to take it out first. It's okay. That will be, yeah, I know. I'm just waiting for 1 second. Just take it there. Just take it there. Leave it outside for 5 minutes and then put it in the freezer. Okay. Yeah, I know. A very good afternoon to everyone. My name is Niklesh and I'll be showing you how to make an oil-based muffin today. It's a very simple recipe which you can make at home, and most of the times I try to work out recipes which can be done at home only. We're trying to make a carrot and zucchini muffin. If you try to have a look, I put my ingredients into 3 parts. This is the dry part, the wet part, and something we call it a crumble, which I will be showing you additionally in that part. In case you don't have a zucchini, what you can do is that equal amount of zucchini you can replace with carrot. Okay, so let me start with the crumble first. If you have seen my first video, which was based on scone, I show you how to make a crumble, but this is a different one. There's some butter there in the fridge. There's some butter in the fridge. Yeah. Can you give me the butter from the fridge? A small one. No, perfect. A crumble is actually a mix of flour, sugar and butter. These 3 things only. So what I'll do is that I will show you how to make a crumble, in which you have additional items into that, because this crumble I want to use it in front of on top of my muffin mix. So I thought I wanted to start with this part. I take my butter, I'm chopping it very small. Why the butter is cold? Because I will be rubbing it with my hands. Because in case I'm not able to rub it with my hand, then I will not be able to get the sandy texture. So what I'm doing is that I try to chop it as small as possible. Okay. Make sure that my tray is also cold. I don't use a very warm tray, because if you use a very warm tray, what happens is that this butter is going to melt very fast. So I have taken my flour, I have taken my sugar. I try to chop my butter in this flour and sugar mixture, in case I have some bigger mixture. But at a later stage, I try to use my fingers to do a rubbing method and try to make a nice mixture in this part. This is the way. So I don't keep this butter too much into my hand. I go it very easy and very slowly, but I try to have a look that when I do this one, I rub it in this part. Then I've kept some crumble in the freezer right behind you in the same tray. Now, under the fridge. Can you see this part now? The mixture is still fine. I can still see butter chunks. Just keep it there. If you feel that when you crumble it, they become too warm very fast, you can also keep your flour in the chiller for some time so that the butter flour both are cold enough. I have taken two more things into that. One is a chopped almond and walnuts into this one. I took some flakes. I took cinnamon powder. The nuts is totally up to you, whether you can use almond, you can use walnut, you can use pecan nut, whatever you use it out. Now, if you see, this crumble is perfectly fine right now. It's not too big, not too small, kind of a thing. And you can always save it in the chiller for some time. You can keep it as it is, let's say example, or if in case you want to bake some of that, you can bake some of that, you can keep half of that part. Both are perfectly fine. This is a very good topping if in case you want to use it in front of on top of a maybe a muffin or a fruit cake or any kind of a cake you're doing it. You can actually do that depending the recipe match with this part. Okay. As I told you, you can actually bake this crumble, and I have already some baked crumble which I want to show it to you. How does it look like? The baking of crumble is normal about 160 degree in any of the oven. This is my baked crumble. Can have a look. I bake it in the oven, I put it in the chiller for some time, and it's perfectly fine. I don't want to make it too much of a crumb or a crush kind of a thing, but this is a good baked crumble which I'll be using as a topping in this muffin recipe. Now to start with the recipe of a muffin, you know, everybody knows that we make muffin two ways. One is a creaming method, which is more about you take the butter and sugar, cream it, add the eggs into that, and then whatever flavoring you want to add into that and fold in the flour. This recipe is different because what I'm doing is that I'm not taking butter, I'm taking oil. So let's take it out. You have water, you have oil, you have zucchini, you have carrot, you have eggs, sugar, and your cinnamon powder. Now in this case, when you take this in, your carrot may not have too much of moisture inside, but for sure your zucchini, okay, your zucchini may have some water. So when you crush or you grate your zucchini, you please make sure you actually squeeze it nicely so that there is no water into that. I have only taken my zucchini in the this mixture, you have to mix it together as a liquid mixture. Okay, now you can do it by hand also, or you can do it in machine also. Whichever method you use, there is nothing wrong. So I take my sugar, I take the oil. I can show you in front of you. So I took sugar and oil is inside. After that, I take water. I take the eggs. I take cinnamon powder, carrot, and this is the zucchini. So if you try to see this part, these are the few ingredients I'm having it. I can mix it, as I say, by hand also. It's not a big thing, okay, like this. But just in case, because I have some eggs into that, at a very small speed, okay, I don't use a sludge because I use some time also. In a very small speed, just leave it. Now, second part is my dry ingredients. If you try to have a look, okay, I have taken some pecan nuts into that. Now, do you have some flour, some bran, desiccated coconut, baking soda, salt, baking powder, ginger powder, nutmeg, and some pecan nuts. In case you don't like pecan nuts, you can take your almonds. Let's say example, you can take your walnuts into that also. What I do is that if you do not have a bran in your recipe, you can easily replace it with a flour. Whole flour, desiccated coconut, baking soda, baking powder, and we have some ginger powder and some nutmeg. Before I add this, I take all the dry ingredients and I mix it nicely. Very simple, you don't have to do anything out. In this recipe, as I say, it's not a creaming method. A creaming method in which you take your butter and sugar and do the creaming and make it light and fluffy. In this case, the entire aeration is coming from the baking soda and baking powder. So this recipe is going to be a little, I will not say lighter, but it's a little bit on the heavy side, but with the kind of nuts and things you're putting inside, I don't think it's a problem. Once this is done, what I do is that I take out by this part. See, right now it's a normal simple mix. If you mix it properly, there's an emulsion of oil and water going into that part. Try to have a look that nothing is left out. Okay. Now I have three parts. The nuts I can add inside this now. In the recipe, it doesn't make a difference whether you're adding this way or either way. So I'll take my liquid part, I'll just pour it. And very slowly, I try to combine it into a mixture form. If in case, if you see in the starting, I told you we have flour and bran inside. If in case you want to add a little bit of almond powder, let's say example, you can remove your bran, you can add a little bit of almond powder into that, just to give some extra richness to the paste. If you try to have a look now, the way it's coming up, it's a nice dough or paste, you can say. It's a nice paste which is easy to work out. It's not collapsing at all. It's perfectly good for me. At this moment of time, you can, if in case you want to chill this paste, you can actually chill it. Put in the chiller for some time, maybe 5 to 10 minutes time, maybe a little bit more, and when you want to bake it, you can bake this mixture also. Maybe give me this one tray, one more tray. So see, now we have the mixture which I'm putting in the chiller, let's say example for some time, okay? And we have a crumble, 2 things are there. Now, second part is that the filling. Any mold you take, okay, I took a small silicone mold because I'm making a muffin. Let's say example, if you're making a big cake mold also, it's perfectly good to make this recipe in a big cake also. But the good thing is that when I'm using this part, I don't try to fill it too much. Maybe I try to fill about 80-90%. Okay, so let's have a look. I have a bottle back with me. Give me the mixture, please. This mixture is shaved, let's say example.
Chef, we have questions.
Yes, please.
If we don't have zucchini, is there any other combo with
No,
carrot?
just remove the. You can take anything. Let's say example which can be grated. Okay, you can take green zucchini, yellow zucchini. Let's say example carrot. But this recipe zucchini is just additional to kind of a new thing. I tried this recipe one time with a banana also, but I didn't take a very ripe banana. Yeah, a banana which is about 70-80% ripe. I use that kind of a recipe, so it can work out very good with banana also actually. When I'm filling it, I don't fill too much. I just leave this much part. Can you see this? It's about 80% I filled up. Please mind that I have already, my oven is preheated at 180 degree. So when you make this out, okay, you don't have to put this in the pot. You can actually make this recipe without topping also. Let's say example, if you don't like a crumble, the good part is that when you use a crumble, it actually gives a nice texture on the top of the muffin also, because inside you have, let's say example, you have zucchini, you have carrot, you have some nuts inside. If in case you're adding an almond powder, you can add almond powder also. But if you're using this one on the top, I just fill up. Okay, nothing in the tray. I don't like a plain muffin. I like something with a texture, which a crunch on the top. So this recipe actually suits very well. And as I told you before, when you're actually making out the crumble, it can be used in different ways. It can be used in any other. Today, let's example, making a carrot and zucchini muffin, but tomorrow you're using a banana muffin. Let's example, this crumble goes very well with the banana muffin also, or banana bread also. It's perfectly fine. So this is something I have done it out, okay, and I'll be using my oven for that. My oven is perfectly ready as of now. If you have a look, my oven is at 180 degree. I put it out with a nice fan speed, and I'll be using it. It will take about 15 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes, depending on the oven. That's example, if you're using a home oven, it definitely take about 15 minutes to bake this. Okay, so I work it out, put a temperature of timer of few minutes. Since I have already made some muffin, let's try to show you how to make it. Let's have a look. I made two part. Half of the part I actually make as a plain one, and second one was with a crumble. So let me try to take it out. Okay, it looks good as of now. Let's say it's a nice muffin which can work it out. Let me try to take out the one with the crumble also. Now you see this part, the texture is completely different than the one with the without any topping. You can always shut off the extra crumble which is on the top and just keep what exactly you're looking for. That's perfectly fine. You have a plate for me? Now, if you have a look, this is, you have a plate for me? Just to have a look at this part. Now this is the difference between the two muffins which we have made. Both are nice and ready. Give me the black ones, please. I'll look at this part so that I can actually show you the Now let's have a look of how the texture is from inside. It's a simple texture which is perfectly fine. It's not this thing out. I'm sure baking is not a problem whenever you bake anything in the oven. The best thing is a stick method, when you're actually sticking something inside the mixture. If it's come out clean, that means the mixture is done. So I believe this is the one, as well as this part. Both of them have the same texture. Only thing is that, see, there's so much inside. There are nuts, there is carrot, there is zucchini, there's a crumble on the top. So it's a perfectly good recipe to have a look. Okay. In case you have a question, please do not hesitate to ask us a question. I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions if you want to have. Okay. Do you have any questions coming out? Oh, it's beautiful. Huh? Seriously, you should try it out. A very simple recipe, easy to make at home, anytime you have a, and it's not too difficult to make. And I think this recipe is something where nothing can go wrong actually.
Chef,
Yeah.
just in case you need to replace the zucchini with banana, would you advise to reduce the amount of sugar?
No,
Because-
it depends on what kind of banana you're using. Let's say example, in case you're using a very mature banana, that means the moisture will be there. That's example. But then again, if I'm using banana, I may use some almond powder into the rubber instead of malt to just to comprehend in this part. But I don't think I will change my amount of sugar into that. And if you still feel, let's example, these kind of things are as per your taste also, if you want to just remove, let's say 5 gram or 5% kind of a thing, it's perfectly fine. It's not too, it doesn't affect too much. Thank you very much, and I'm sure you are enjoying all these live demos which are happening in Academy right now with different chefs. And tomorrow some other chef will be coming with some other live demo. Stay tuned, and I'll see you again. Thank you very much.
How many?